200 radio stations. And he realized very early on the power of the internet. The power of the internet to spread the types of outrage and anger that he was spreading. That's why he started his website. And he realized that if you filmed the radio show, if you filmed it, you could post the video of it. And people could see Alex Jones' antics and just how angry he was and just how fearful his audience should be. And so he started live streaming to the internet at Infowars.com. He started a news site, okay? It wasn't a news site. In fact, you're going to hear Alex Jones himself and his corporate representative tell you that they're not journalists. And everybody knows they're not journalists, except guess who? Their audience, who they tell repeatedly that they are journalists. And so they start this website, and they put up all the different ways that the audience should be afraid of what's happening. Because on his show, what he does is he latches onto events in the world and uses them as examples for why the audience should believe him, that there is a plot unfolding to enslave and to kill them. He started growing. Infowars.com doubled to become Prisonplanet.com. He added another website, Prisonplanet TV. That's where you could watch all his videos if you wanted. And right before the social media revolution happened, what you have to understand is that Alex Jones was perfectly positioned to take advantage of the exponential growth that social media would allow. Because he had a ready-made audience that was buying into his stuff. He had the type of medium that was most easily spread and engaged with online, videos. He had learned that if he could clip his show into little segments, little digestible videos that would take off online. And so when Facebook came around, he went all in on social media. You just look at how many social media accounts he had on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. YouTube, the perfect medium for Alex Jones to just put up little videos, and he encouraged his audience to share them. He started live streaming his radio show, which he was filming, to YouTube, to Facebook, and to his own websites. And his audience was growing like crazy. Some of you in jury selection said you'd heard of Alex Jones. Others of you hadn't. But what you will learn in this case is just how influential he became. I want you to take a look at this slide here. This is from Infowars' own internal data. These are the numbers just for Infowars.com, his website in 2011. Okay? Not Facebook, not Twitter, not YouTube, just his one website. Nearly 250 million page views in that year alone. 32 million users, 85 million sessions. This is the audience that he had amassed that were tuning in every day. And what they were tuning into was Alex Jones telling them that, had you heard about that latest famine orchestrated by the global conspiracy that's coming after you? Have you heard about chemical pollutants in our water and our food? They're intentionally doing that to kill you off. Have you heard about the latest pandemic intentionally released upon you to depopulate you? Have you heard about falling fertility rates? The government trying to lower your sex drive so you have fewer children. Have you heard about mass shootings? Government operations as a pretext to take away your guns. Every day, something new to be afraid of. And you're going to hear about this business model. This business model, though, depends on one thing, and that is an endless thing for people to fear. And he grew his audience, for one reason. So that by the time they came to his website, he could send them to his store where they could buy stuff. This is Timothy Fouget. He's a longtime business manager for Alex Jones. You're going to see his deposition played in this case. And I asked him, and in fact, you know that during the years, let's just say from 2012 onward, Mr. Jones' social media audience expanded dramatically, year over year over year, correct? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, yes. And as we've been talking about throughout this deposition, that expanded audience led to expanded revenue for free speech systems and Mr. Jones. That's correct. You can hear Mr. Jones's father, David Jones, testify about how they would connect what they were covering in the news to the products they were selling people. I've observed, for example, if people are being stressed out about the idea of there being very dangerous flu things out there and stuff, and we have found that there is a product that is licensed by the FDA, now, bear in mind, they don't carry FDA-licensed products, to be a good surface disinfectant, and actually you can make claims along those lines. If there is a headline that the disease control of Atlanta is saying that flu is up 5 times, and we say have something that we believe will support your immune system, and I personally use it as a hand sanitizer, you know, that kind of puffery sells very well. And Mr. Jones was reeling them in. InfoWarsStore.com. You can see advertised all over his websites, all over his videos. This is the kind of stuff he was selling. You heard about when I told you that the government is lowering your sex drive so that you won't have any more children? I got something just for you. Super male and super female vitality. Just $52.45 on my website. You hear about those food shortages that the government has been inflicting upon you? Don't let them starve you out. I got storable food for you. And the chemicals and the pollutants that they're putting into your water. Get your state-of-the-art water filtration system on my website. Just $59.95. Radiation levels are going up. Another government operation. But don't you know what helps with that? Iodine. Iodine mined from 2,000 miles below the earth crystals. $40. And now what about this? This one I brought up because it's going to show you the kind of profits Alex Jones was making off of his fear. This is a text message from Timothy Fruget, business manager, to Alex Jones. Timothy Fruget is going to tell you that Alex Jones wanted sales reports every day. Every day. You can see a text message from Alex Jones at 7 a.m. asking his sales manager, how are we doing so far? You look at the second sentence here. The retail for Vaso beet, beet juice, beet essence, will be $39.95 and sale for $19.95. Our cost is $4. That's 1,000% markup. Now I want you to ask yourself, who's going to pay $40 for an eyedropper bottle of beet juice? The evidence is going to show you that it's somebody who's been manipulated. Somebody who's been convinced that Alex Jones is the one telling them the truth about everything that they have to fear. And they dig deep for $40 to buy an eyedropper full of beet juice. And so this is what was happening at InfoWars. I want you to look at these numbers. I showed you 2011, but you know we're coming up to December 2012. In those nearly 2 years, this is the audience he was sitting on. Nearly 500 million page views on his website. Just Infowars.com. Remember, not Twitter, not Facebook. That's where all the action was. Nearly 500 million on his website. 76 million users, 193 million sessions. That's the audience that was ready to tune in for the next outrage on December 14th, 2012.